Thank you for coming to this interview series again. Of course, if you're paying attention, you've been watching these. Once a month, I interview a university student that I'm teaching in a local college around here. And also once a month, I interview either a parent of one of our students, like I've actually interviewed today, Karen. I've interviewed her classmate's mom actually before. Michiko, if you watch Michiko's interview, her daughter is Sachi, which is in her same class. Or so I interview an adult student, and today I'm going to interview an adult student. She is still actually sixth grade of elementary, but I'll explain later why. But actually, she's in our high school class. So in high school and above, in our Ikuei school, counts as an adult. So today I'm interviewing Karen, who is sorry. I should explain what we do in these series if this is the first time, of course. So first, I'll say who the guest is. So today, of course, we have Karen. She's from New York, originally born in New York City. So what is famous for her home state or hometown? So I've had people from Tagasaki or Maebashi before. So today I asked her to explain about where she was born, actually. So she stayed until 6 years old in New York. And let's see, number 3, why did I invite her? I'll explain it later, why I consider her good at studying. And 4, the guests will explain their main study advice. And number 5, of course, she'll explain how she makes herself better physically, mentally, or emotionally every year. So, of course, first I want to show this one. Of course, this is brought to you by, of course, our APS, our Slice of Pie YouTube page. Of course, where we have every day, we have something different kind of English every day, 7 days a week. I teach from 2 years old until 85 years old. So we have something for everybody. And depends on the day of the week. On Sundays, we do these. We do interview series. Of course, the producer brought to you by Apple Pie English School, our English school in Tagasaki, Gunma, Japan. And of course, so usually I show the prefectures. Now we've had people from 5 or 6 prefectures around Japan. She actually lives near here. She lives in Tagasaki near my school, but originally until 6 years old, she's almost 12 now. So until 6 years old, she was in New York City. Of course, I'll link these in the show notes later, but of course, New York City, if you're not familiar with, here's the Wikipedia page. And of course, I was not familiar with this as much, but I found this map, of course, of the different areas of where New York is. So Manhattan, you have the different neighborhoods, Manhattan, Bronx, Brooklyn, Staten Island, and Queens. I think most Americans know those neighborhoods, but maybe unfamiliar with the map. And maybe she grew up in Queens until she was 6 years old. And then, of course, here's some sightseeing around. Of course, Statue of Liberty is very famous. Japan also in Odaiba has another Statue of Liberty, but a smaller version than the American one, and Coney Island here. And, of course, food. Some food around New York. She might recommend some food she likes. You can see pizza. In America, we love pizza. I guess most famous from New York would be Italian pizza. And also cheesecake. We say New York cheesecake because it's a special kind of sweet cheesecake. I loved it. I can eat a lot of cheesecake. Also, hot dogs I want to recommend because my students know that I'm always upset when people put something on a hot dog that is not mustard. So in the South or Tennessee, where I'm from, we eat hot dogs with mustard. It's bun, bread, the sausage and the bun and mustard. That's it. That's how we eat it. That's when we barbecue or when we buy at the restaurant. But in New York City, as you can see this drawing here, if you've been to Costco, maybe overseas or in Japan too, they have a lot of other ingredients. They have onions and ketchup and mustard and sauerkraut, which is kind of German cabbage. And they cover it like a pizza almost. And to a person from Tennessee like myself or from the South, I'm like, oh, that's not a hot dog. You're destroying the food. But for New Yorkers, that's exactly what a hot dog is. And I mention that because actually here, I'm going to link this in show notes too. Cuisine from New York, there's too many to mention, actually. This is all different cuisine from New York. That a lot of music or fashion, when it enters America, it enters from the mainstream from California. Politics too. Politics and things like that, or healthy food, healthy things enter from California, like jogging. But food, however, always enters from New York City. I guess because we call it the melting pot of America, that even Japanese food like ramen, it'll first go to New York City. It'll go to Hawaii maybe first, but in the mainland, New York City. So everything Japanese that wants to enter America will go to New York City first. And if it's popular there, it'll spread across America. Okay, so enough of me talking. So I'll link all these in the show notes. So now let's see the second part of our interview. So Karen, can you please teach us something famous about New York City?
Uh, when when you go to New York, I recommend going to Broadway because hmm, uh, it's very popular, and uh, there are a lot of theaters. And one time I went to that theater and I saw a lot of musicals, but my personal favorite is the Lion King musical. And uh, the food I recommend is pizza. And there's this one restaurant that I really liked when I was living in New York. It's called Boston Market, and the mashed potatoes there are very, very good.
Yeah, I agree. I've never been there. I know that restaurant, but I've never been there. But yeah, I love mashed potatoes and gravy. I'm disappointed for anybody who doesn't know. Any Americans might be watching, or depends on your country. That Kentucky Fried Chicken, of course, usually has chicken plus mashed potatoes. But in Japan, they don't. In Japan, they have chicken plus French fries. So unfortunately, we can't eat that much mashed potatoes in Japan. So the third part of our interview, I'll explain more about her and why I invited her today. There's several reasons. She's been my student now for a couple of years. She actually comes to my Ikuei school, my English conversation school, twice a week, but both on Saturdays. Saturday morning, she comes 2.5 hours every week. And nighttime, she comes about an hour and a half every week, so about 4 hours every week. In the nighttime class, even though she's sixth grade elementary, in the morning class, we do a lot of different, so we do the same as an American school would do. We do math, science, history, things like that. In the nighttime class, we do a typical high school English class. So even though she's sixth grade, she's in the high school class at night because she's what you call in the industry, in the English industry, as a returnee. Even though she's Japanese, she was born in New York, and until 6 years old, she spoke English. So English might have been her first language. So actually, that's what we call returning. She returned to her original or her home culture. And in the future, of course, she's going to go back to New York to go to junior high and high school soon. So returning, I thought would be very interesting perspective for this interview series because their image of English is different, where she came to English first and she had to learn Japanese later. So it'll be interesting, her perspective on that. And of course, she came to my school originally to study math, but even she's doing well. She's trying her best every week. And when she is excited about something, she always does it well, and she does the homework and things like that. So that's enough for my explanation. So now let's see for her. So now in the fourth part of this interview, how do you study well? So what's your study advice?
My study advice first is to never give up. There are a lot of times that you feel like you want to quit, but never quit and keep on studying, and you will definitely be better. And when I study as soon as I come back from school, which is 4:30 p.m. But when I can't study as soon as I come back from school, I study 1 or 2 hours before I go to bed.
Okay, that's good advice. Yeah. The first part about never giving up. Michael Jordan actually once said, when somebody asked him, what made you such a great basketball player? And he said 9,000. So if I'm not misquoting him, he said 9,000 there. 9,000, what's 9,000? Well, I had 9,000 missed shots. So I don't count the shots I make. I count the shots I miss, because each missed shot makes me a better player. So never give up. And a lot of people don't know this, but when he entered high school, his coach said, "You're horrible at basketball. Don't join basketball. Join another sport. I know you're tall, but you're a horrible player." And within 2 years, he was on the best high school basketball team in America. So that's very true. And about studying before you sleep, of course, she knows as my student, you should. And I have a video on this topic on Mondays. We do study advice or study tips. And I think I said 25 to 30 minutes before you sleep is the best time to learn something. So as you learn it, and if you move your body, for example, piano or something, when you're sleeping, that action or that study 30 minutes before bedtime, you'll practice 20 more times in your head. So if you study for 30 minutes, you're actually practicing 10 hours in your head while you're sleeping. So in the last part, the fifth part, how to be better. So as I tell my students, always, it's about improvement. Make yourself better than you were yesterday, last week, last year, last month, last year. So either physically, mentally, or emotionally. So Karen, how do you plan to make yourself better this year?
For me, I'm going to junior high in 6 months, and I won't get to see my friends because I will be so busy. So I want to spend time with my friends as much as possible this time. And for those who are going to a higher grade or maybe graduating next year, uh, I think you should spend time with your friends and family because next year you are gonna get a lot more busier. So I recommend spending time with your friends and family.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, having a support network, yes, of your family. So that's what we talked earlier about physically, mentally, or emotionally. Maybe that's the emotional, how to make yourself better emotionally this year. Great advice. So please, if you're watching this, please give a comment below and say thank you to Karen for coming today. And so also you can subscribe up here to our channel. We have on Sundays, we have either walking videos with my cat or myself, and or these kind of study advice interviews. And other days of the week, please check those out too. Those are, each day has a different focus. And here you have some more of these Sunday videos, and up here you have some popular videos on my channel. So please enjoy those, and I'll see you next time. See you.
Yeah.